Hello there guys, welcome to one of my live videos, and on this video this afternoon I am going to be giving you an update on some more transfer news. Of course, keep me up to date of what players are linked with Manchester United, because of course Manchester United are making big plans for the summer transfer window. And of course, if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is to be still Manchester United manager in the summer transfer window, it will be his fourth transfer window as Manchester United manager, because obviously so far he has endured three transfer windows with Man United, and as recruited five players in and spent over £200 million as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and he has now been at the football club for just over the year. I think there's like a 25-30% chance that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will be Manchester United manager going on into next season. If Manchester United can secure European football and finish within the top six, then it's likely that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will be Manchester United manager next season. But people have got different perceptions on it. Some people, would give him another season, and some people would get rid of him at the end of the season and either recommend Mauricio Pochettino in or Massimiliano Allegri. So now let's delve into the transfer news. So I have been reading recent reports regarding Moussa Dembele from Lyon. I haven't spoke to you about Moussa Dembele for quite some time, but recent reports are coming out from the Daily Star. It's also in the Daily Mail. It's also in Sky Sports, which is a very reliable source, and they're saying that Manchester United have expressed an interest in Moussa Dembele. Have expressed an interest in Moussa Dembele. Reportedly, he wants to return to the Premier League. Don't forget, Moussa Dembele did begin his career with Fulham when he was younger, and he is now still only at the age of 23. Now, reportedly, Lyon have given their overarching view on it, and they said they are determined to sell him, as long as, we're willing to meet what they're demanding for the player. And reportedly, Lyon have quoted out that they want around 83 or 84 million pounds for him. I think, minimum 60 million pounds, probably, will convince, Lyon to offload the player. Of course, Chelsea have also expressed an interest in Moussa Dembele. Of course, Lyon paid around £20 million for him in the summer of 2018 from Celtic, because he did enjoy a good tenure with Celtic. And like I mentioned, he did really, really well with Fulham when he was younger. Moussa Dembele has still got around 3 years left on his current contract with Lyon, so he's under contract with them until 2023. And he's an out-and-out number 9. And of course, Solskjaer has already revealed that he wants to bring a striker at Manchester United, and he fits our transfer strategy perfectly, because Solskjaer said, he still wants to continue the policy of recruiting young players in. I think Manchester United this summer need around 3 to 4 signings to become competitive and to become title contenders. So maybe we could challenge for the league next season, depending on, who we can get into the club in the summer. But I think we need around 2 strikers, to be quite honest with you. And obviously, we see Moussa Dembele as an adequate replacement for Romelu Lukaku. Of course, I know that, we've got Odion Ighalo in on loan until the end of the season, but I'm very, very sceptical that Manchester United will make his transfer permanent unless he does hit the ground running, or we get some more injuries, unless Martial gets injured or Daniel James gets injured. I think that's the only main explanation where we could make the deal permanent for Odion Ighalo. Obviously, we got him from Shanghai Shenhua. We paid around 3 or 4 million to get him on loan, and we're paying like a third of his wages. He's yet to make his full debut for Manchester United, but he already has played for the football club. But I think he'll do really, really well for Man United, will Odion Ighalo. Obviously, we need a replacement for Alexis Sanchez. The positive is Sanchez, I don't think, is coming back to Manchester United in the summer. Solskjaer did reveal back in January, which was last month. He said, Sanchez would have been coming back in the summer to prove everybody wrong, but now that is not the case. I'm glad we loaned him out. That's the only way we would have got rid of him, was loaning him out, because not many teams, if any, could afford to pay his substantial wages, because, Sanchez was the highest paid player at the football club, and despite the fact that he's on loan at Inter Milan, we're still paying the vast majority of his wages. I still believe we're paying him around 300 grand a week, but endured difficult 18 months with Man United. Also hasn't played much for Inter Milan, due to injuries. And Sanchez, I thought would have done well at Man United, reflecting on what he did in his 3.5, 4 years with Arsenal. Also played under Pep Guardiola's guidance when he was younger and that. So yeah, and like Gary Neville was saying before, it took us a while, to get that replacement for Romelu Lukaku. And I think Man United did make a mistake by getting rid of Romelu Lukaku, to be quite honest with you. Obviously, in the end, he had to go because he initially lost his place in the team, did Romelu Lukaku. Looking at it from a financial point of view, though, we would have been happy. We generated 70 odd million pounds from his departure, so we did recoup, what we paid for him from Everton back in 2017. But Lukaku enjoyed one good season with Manchester United and that, but we did make a mistake by getting rid of him. So, revert back to what I said, do you think Moussa Dembele would be the right calibre player for Manchester United? And looking at it as well, I think we need Champions League football anywhere to attract players to the elite level. Not only that, it will generate money for getting into the Champions League. The clubs, the resources of the club will also be better. So we need European football secured for next season. So yeah, we've got a lot of attacking. We have got quite a lot of attacking players. We've obviously got Martial, we've got Daniel James, we've got Rashford. Obviously, Rashford could be out until for the rest of the season. He could be out, could Marcus Rashford. Solskjaer also revealed that Rashford, may never play for Manchester United. He may not play, for the Euros this year. If he's not fit, then he won't play for the Euros, will Marcus Rashford. But he's out with a back injury, and Solskjaer revealed he's going to be out for at least the next couple of months. But Rashford has been one of our best players this season, so he is a big miss. Obviously, we've got Mason Greenwood. He started on the right against Watford. It was a good decision by Solskjaer to play him because he seldom starts in the Premier League. And like I mentioned, he needs to get more starts in the Premier League, does Mason Greenwood and that. Very, very good young upcoming player is Greenwood. And I think as he develops more, he will emulate to Marcus Rashford's level. So yeah, we have got quite a few attacking players. Bruno Fernandes as well is there. Obviously Lingard and Pereira, they're two liabilities. We need to move them on in the summer, definitely. Another player Manchester United have been in for is Jadon Sancho. Obviously, we've been relentlessly linked with Jadon Sancho. Also, Chelsea and Liverpool have expressed their interest in him. I can't see Liverpool getting him because, he wouldn't get in Liverpool's team. Liverpool wouldn't be able to guarantee him football week in, week out. But if he came to Chelsea or Man United, then, he'd get more chances. He'd definitely suit our system if he came in with Jadon Sancho. Borussia Dortmund have already revealed that they want at least £100 million for Sancho. But Man United have got the financial power to pay that, because we are one of the richest clubs in the world. And, we're already known for overpaying for players anywhere in recent years. But I think it's going to cost at least £100 million is Jadon Sancho. Of course, we was in for him last summer. The reason why we didn't get him last year is because, Manchester United failed to qualify for the Champions League. He's done well in some aspects at Borussia Dortmund this season, but he's also been dropped in quite a lot of games. I think he's had 2 good seasons with Dortmund. He was good last season. He also enjoyed a good first season with Dortmund, and I think he's still got around 2 years left on his contract. I think he's definitely leaving Borussia Dortmund this summer, but he still remains unknown where his next destination will be. I think, if he come back to the Premier League, that would be very beneficial for Jadon Sancho. Borussia Dortmund, will make a huge profit on the player because they only paid 7 or 8 million for him from Man City. Obviously, City, he was at City, didn't really get opportunities at City, and this is the main explanation why I left Manchester City. Jadon Sancho is only 19 years of age. And like I said, I think he complements the likes of Martial, James, Rashford, Fernandes, in our attacking line, definitely. He is predominantly a right winger, by the way, is Jadon Sancho. So hopefully we can get him on the board. Obviously, we're in search for at least a couple. We're in search for a couple of midfielders. Because I still believe Pogba's going to be leaving in the summer. Obviously, Jack Grealish and James Maddison have been on our agenda, and we can afford to let Pogba go if we can get Grealish in, and also if we can get, James Maddison in, definitely. Imagine that in our midfield, Grealish, Maddison and Bruno Fernandes, what a midfield trio, that, would be if, Grealish and Maddison were to come in, because they complement each other fantastically well if they were to come in. But, my calculation adding this up, say Sancho costs us 100 million, probably Maddison and Grealish are going to cost us around 160, 170 million pounds for them two players. That's going to come to just under 300 million pounds for three players. Also add Moussa Dembele into the equation. That's a good 80 million pounds there. So that's over 300 million pounds there on four players. But Manchester United desperately do need more signings. Even Jack Grealish alone could cost us 80 million pounds if Aston Villa do avoid relegation. But there is still deficiencies in the squad that need to be addressed. Manchester United need a right winger. Manchester United need a centre-half. We need someone on Harry Maguire's level. I know we've got Lindelof and he's done well, but he's not on Harry Maguire's level. So if we could get another centre-half in, and then, we could use Victor Lindelof as, a backup. Possibly need a left-back. Luke Shaw has done well recently, to be fair, but he's very injury-prone, has struggled for consistency. We've got Brandon Williams, but he's still inexperienced. He's in his first season in the senior squad. So yeah, there's still deficiencies in the squad that do need to be addressed. In the squad, that do need to be addressed and that. So that's the latest on the transfer news. Of course, we expect more players to leave Manchester United this summer. Obviously, a lot of players have left since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's arrival already. We got rid of around 9 senior players, and obviously reflects on some of the players that left. We have generated some money for their departures. Of course, we saw Ashley Young leave this year. He went to Inter Milan for 1.5 million after he endured 8.5 years at the football club. So he was a long-serving player. We saw Rojo go out on loan to Estudiantes. We saw obviously Chris Smalling go last summer. He endured 9 years at the football club. He endured 9 years at the football club, did Chris Smalling, went out on loan to Roma. Of course, I think, Roma are considering getting him permanently. We saw Darmian go last summer. We saw Herrera go. I think the club also made a mistake by getting rid of Ander Herrera. We also got rid of Marian Fellaini after he endured 6 years at the club. He went back in January 2019 to China, and Lukaku and Alexis Sanchez left. Of course, we also loaned Dean Henderson out. If Dean Henderson does come back to Man United after his loan spell with Sheffield United, maybe he will become our number one goalkeeper because now he has got that experience and he's done well for Sheffield United. De Gea's been our number one goalkeeper for a while, but I think in last year, a half or so, he has become a bit of a liability as David De Gea, but still enjoyed a very, very good career with Manchester United. He's made over 300 appearances in the Premier League. I think nearly 400 appearances in all competitions as De Gea. And, De Gea is the highest paid goalkeeper in the world. We've got Romero, who's our second choice keeper. He obviously tends to play in the cup games. We've also got Lee Grant. He's sustained a few injuries since he come in, but hasn't really played for Manchester United. So he seldom starts or seldom gets involved, does Lee Grant, to be quite honest with you and that. But I expect around 4 or 5 players to leave in the summer. Like I mentioned, I think probably Lingard will go, Pereira will go. Who else do I think will go? Maybe Luke Shaw will go. I expect Phil Jones to go. He's also been a long-serving player with the club and he doesn't really get in the team. Matic has done well recently. And some people are saying, now that with Bruno Fernandes, he seems to make Matic quicker. But I've still got a lot of element of concerns about Matic. So yeah, these two players, that need to, leave Manchester United in the summer and that definitely. But obviously, I've been very, very impressed, with Bruno Fernandes. I think, he's enjoyed a fantastic start to his Manchester United career. Obviously he's made 3 appearances in the Premier League so far. And, Bruno Fernandes, has scored 1 goal. He scored in the game against Watford yesterday. That was his first goal for Manchester United. Also got an assist for Mason Greenwood's 3rd goal. So he's now got 1 goal and 2 assists in total at the moment because he also got an assist for Harry Maguire's goal in the 2-0 win against Chelsea. Bruno Fernandes makes the difference in our team and, he could be key. He could be key, could Bruno Fernandes, of us, in our rebuilding process, definitely, Bruno Fernandes could be key. But he's very instrumental. His decision making is very, very good. And, as long as Solskjaer keeps Bruno Fernandes in that number 10, he will do really, really well. We'll see the best out of him. He only could become a liability if Solskjaer, puts him as a holding midfielder, which I don't think he'll do anywhere. So Bruno Fernandes is a very, very good signing. Definitely, he is making a difference in the team. Also, too, Anthony Martial's been in very, very good form. I know I was recently criticising Anthony Martial, for, how poor he has been. To be fair, he has sustained quite a few injuries this season, but, he's got 3 goals now in his last 3 games as Anthony Martial. So he is, now in scintillating form. Obviously, he has been playing in that number 9 role. I know a lot of people are saying he should be reverted back to the left-hand side because that's his predominant position. Maybe when Odion Ighalo does start, then maybe he will be reverted back to the left-hand side with Anthony Martial. Martial now is into his 5th season at the football club. He has 60-odd goals in just over 200-odd appearances. I think we mainly saw the best of Martial in his debut season when Louis van Gaal, did recommend the player in. But, he has done really, really well as Anthony Martial, definitely. And I did say, if he was to continue with his bad run of performances, I would probably consider getting rid of him in the summer. But now he's, rejuvenated himself. Maybe I would be determined to give Martial at least another season because he is only at the age of 24. It was a very, very good result against Watford, by the way, winning by 3-0. It was a very, very good result. Obviously, now that's back-to-back Premier League wins for Man United. We have kept a clean sheet now in our last 3 Premier League games. And reflecting on the win against Watford, it keeps our top 4 ambitions alive. We are now only 3 points behind top 4. It's amazing, isn't it, how a lot of teams have been so poor this season. We haven't been so good. Chelsea haven't been so good. Tottenham haven't been so good. Arsenal haven't been so good. And, it's just amazing, we can still finish in the top 4, yet this is the worst we've ever been in the Premier League era. But I'm hopeful that we can get that top 4. Obviously, we know 5th place is a Champions League spot now anywhere, because obviously, City are banned from the Champions League for the next 2 seasons. But I'd still love Manchester United to finish in that top 4 this season. Definitely in that. And, it was a good performance against Watford. He wasn't so good in the first 20 minutes, but I think prior to that, we did really, really well. Daniel James also enjoyed a very, very good game. A lot of people are saying that Daniel James should be rested because Solskjaer has been overplaying Daniel James. Greenwood could have had more than 1 goal, because he had created quite a few good chances. He's now on 5 goals in the Premier League, and he's only in his first season in the senior squad. Martial, could have had more than 1 goal, but his goal was unbelievable. The chip was just amazing. Solskjaer, has praised him. He still thinks there's some aspects of his game that do need to improve, though. Bruno Fernandes was fantastic. I thought he was the man of the match against Watford. But, he's actually, said that Bruno Fernandes, is the new Paul Scholes. So he believes that Bruno Fernandes, will emulate into the next Paul Scholes. And Bruno Fernandes is one of our most expensive signings. £68 million we paid for him. I think is like our 4th most expensive signing is Bruno Fernandes and that. But I thought, Solskjaer tactically got it right against Watford. Obviously, he did revert back to the 4-2-3-1 formation. Obviously, he has been going with that formation on a regular basis this season. From some people's perceptions, though, some people believe we look much better with 3 at the back. We do actually look, from my perception, I think we look much more expansive with 3 at the back. And we've had decent results when we've gone with 3 at the back this season, but we seldom go with 3 at the back. I think it maybe is a good option to go with 3 at the back when we're coming up against elite opposition, to be fair. Didn't work out in the game against Club Brugge in the first leg. Wasn't the best of performance in the first leg against Brugge, but all that matters is we got that vital away goal. We got that away goal, which was very, very good to see, through Anthony Martial. Of course, he got a lot of things wrong in the game against Club Brugge. Obviously, Greenwood wasn't available because he was ill, that's fair enough. Chong and, Gomez weren't available. Their appearances are limited at Man United. He played Luke Shaw at centre-half, because like I said, Luke Shaw is not predominantly a centre-half. He played Pereira and Lingard in the game against Brugge, which he shouldn't have done. Bruno Fernandes didn't start, which they should have done. Pisaka and Daniel James were arrested, so he did get a lot of things wrong in the first leg against Club Brugge. But I do believe it's going to be totally comparison in the second leg because Solskjaer won't take any risks this Thursday at Old Trafford. He may rest a couple of key players because Everton is on the horizon and that's going to be a very, very difficult game. But I'm delighted that Solskjaer did axe Lingard and Pereira from the squad against Watford. Very, very delighted about that. I think we'll beat Club Brugge in the second leg, and I think Manchester United, will progress to the last 16 of the Europa League. I think we are emerged as one of the favourites to win the Europa League. To be quite honest, we are emerged as one of the favourites. Obviously, we haven't won the Europa League since 2017, so we did win it under Jose Mourinho's guidance. We beat Ajax by 2-0. But I'm confident we can get to the last 16 of the competition. Everton's going to be a very, very difficult game. Obviously, Everton did lose 3-2 at Arsenal, but they were very, very unlucky. It's going to be a tough test, is Everton, because they've got a lot of good players. They've got Dominic Calvert-Lewin, they've got Richie Arledson, they've got Bernard, they've got Walcott. So they've got some really good attacking players. They've got Alex Iwobi, who's done well. They've got a few former Man United players. They've got Schneidlin, they've got Michael Keane as one of their centre-halves. Lucas Ding's a very, very good fullback for them. Jordan Pickford's alright, had a good World Cup for England in 2018. But it's going to be a very, very tough game against Everton, definitely. And it's going to be interesting to see how Ole Gunnar Solskjaer approaches that game. They look much better under Carlo Ancelotti's guidance. They're on the third manager this season, Everton, because don't forget they did get rid of... Well, they had Duncan Ferguson as the interim manager. He's still something to do with the club because I think he's one of the backroom staff. They had Marco Silva, who they got rid of. Everton, I think they did make a mistake, Everton, by getting rid of Martinez because he did really, really well for them. Obviously, they had Koeman at one point, they had David Moyes. He enjoyed 11 years with Everton, but they're a pretty decent team. And for me, Carlo Ancelotti is one of the most decorated managers of all time. Hopefully the game on Sunday isn't going to be, a repeat from... It isn't going to be, like last season, when we lost 4-0, one of our heaviest defeats under Solskjaer. Solskjaer came out after that game and publicly apologised. We've lost quite a few times at Everton over the years, so I'm taking nothing for granted because it's going to be a very, very tough game against Everton and that. Of course, like I mentioned, we've had a lot of injuries this season, but that's not excusable for how inconsistent we've been. Like I said, Rashford's been out. Pogba's still out. I still expect Pogba to play for Manchester United before he does leave in the summer. Well, on the other hand, there was reports coming out the other day saying that Paul Pogba could decide to stay at Manchester United if Manchester United do sack Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and he could consider, extending his contract at the football club. But Solskjaer did say he may never play again, and he is not close to returning from injury. Pogba's only played 8 games this season because of his injuries. The last time he played was Boxing Day, Paul Pogba, and he hasn't started a game since September for Manchester United, as Pogba and that. But you can say he has been a big miss in that midfield. If he does leave in the summer, Pogba, I think he'll either go to Real Madrid or he'll make a return to Turin, because Pogba did enjoy 4 good years in Turin with Juventus, but analysing the vast majority of his performances at Man United, there have been totally comparison to his ones in Turin. So he has been, very, very poor. We paid 89 million for Paul Pogba. He's one of our most expensive signings, and now he is heading into the final year of his contract at the football club. But Man United do have an option to extend it by a further year. Obviously, we've been very infuriated, of what his agent Mini Raiola come out and said regarding the player, saying he's likely to leave if Man United don't get Champions League football. He also, said, he's not Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's property. I don't know if Mini Raiola spoken to Pogba or he's spoken to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I aren't too sure about that. But all I know is that Pogba has just recently returned to the training ground after his Dubai trip. The earliest we are looking at Paul Pogba being back is for the game against Manchester City on the 8th of March, which is going to be another big game for Manchester United. But he said the other week that he told his teammates that he's going to be leaving the club in the summer. Last summer, he was relentlessly linked to a move to Real Madrid, but his move to Real Madrid didn't materialise, reflecting on the substantial amount we put on him. Real Madrid value him at 50 million. That's 3 times less than what we want for him, because we want 150 million for him in the summer. It's 39 million pound less than what we paid for him. Man United won't sell Pogba for 50 million. There's been talks of, Ramsey and Pogba as a swap deal. Ramsey coming to Man U and Pogba going to, back to Juventus. Ramsey has been at Juventus, is it just over a year? Ramsey, he's a decent player. He's predominantly a box-to-box midfielder. Can play on the left and the right wing. Enjoyed 12 good years at Arsenal, was a long-serving player. Also was at Cardiff. He actually began his career at Cardiff, did Aaron Ramsey. But we said we want around 150 million for Paul Pogba and that. So I think he'll still go in the summer. McTominay, good news regarding him. He's just come back from injury because he was out with a knee injury, was McTominay. He came on in the 3-0 win against Watford yesterday. So it's good to see him back. So now we can play him alongside Fred in our midfield. Some people believe Matic is a better option than McTominay, but McTominay did well earlier on in the season before he got injured, so take that into account. My perception on Solskjaer is I still don't think he's a long-term solution for the football club. Solskjaer, a good couple of results doesn't change my perception regarding him. It's not always the right solution sacking managers persistently because we've already sacked 3 managers since the Alex Ferguson era. Moyes is gone, Louis van Gaal's gone and Jose Mourinho's gone. And I said there's not only problems with management at the club, there's problems with the club's ownership. There's problems with Ed Woodward, there's also been a lot of problems with the board for several years because they've been a liability in that. So there is various issues at the club, that do need to be addressed. Definitely in that. And Solskjaer has got many expectations to exceed at Manchester United. I think the club have made a lot of mistakes in the last 6-7 years. We made a mistake by giving the job to Solskjaer on a permanent basis. But the main explanation why we're giving the job on a permanent basis is reflecting on what he did when he was the interim manager, because he did really, really well in that 3-month period, Solskjaer, when he was the interim manager. But, since he's got the job permanently, his record, let's be honest, has been disastrous. He has been disastrous since he got the job permanently, and he's still got around 2.5 years left on his current deal as Solskjaer at Manchester United. We should have got a director of footballing. I did say that's one of the structural changes that we need at the club, because then if we'd have got a director of footballing, then Ed Woodward, could have moved away from the footballing decisions. Maybe there's some players over the years that we've recruited in, and we've recruited in, shouldn't have let him go. Maybe there's some players that we let go who we shouldn't have let go, basically, in that. But Manchester United spent a lot of money in the last 6 or 7 years. We spent £1 billion on recruiting new players in, or almost £1 billion. 67 million under David Moyes. He brought Fellaini and Mata in. Under Louis van Gaal, we brought, likes of Schneiderlin, Sebastian Schweinsteiger, Depay, Blind, Falcao, he brought all them players in, also let players go. There's still players in now from the Louis van Gaal era. Under Jose Mourinho, we spent a good 400 million. The vast majority of these players are Jose Mourinho's, take into account, and now Solskjaer is still inheriting the vast majority of them and that. So yeah, a hell of a lot of money is being spent at Man United. I think we spent 200 odd million under Louis van Gaal. And this is disregarding, what we spent under Alex Ferguson. So take that into the equation. Man United need to get some silverware on the board this season as well. We haven't won out yet since Solskjaer came in. We've only won 3 trophies since the Ferguson era. That was the FA Cup under Van Gaal and the Europa League and the League Cup in Jose Mourinho's first season. We also got second in Jose Mourinho's first season at the club. And, we've got a few ambitions this season. One of them's the top 4. The Europa League is a priority for us. Also, too, the FA Cup is a priority for Manchester United. So take that into the equation. Chon and Gomez, I think, will also be moved on because they're not getting enough chances at the club, like I mentioned. So I think they're also players, I think that will leave Man United in the summer and that. But Man United come up against Club Brugge on Thursday in the second leg. Preview should be coming up for that sometime tomorrow. So So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel if you do. Consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless you all again very, very, very soon.